Hello, welcome, Mary Gohman, and your daughter. I'll have you introduce in a moment to our Artist Spotlight 2020 for the Millstream Arts Festival. I know Mary's been a longtime artist in the Millstream Arts Festival, and it's quite a pleasure to have her here today with us and her daughter. Let's start by having you share who you are and what you do, Mary, for our viewers today.
Okay, I'm Mary Gohman. I've been in Millstream for probably 35 years, if not longer. I remember having my 6-week-old son out there. No, 2-week-old son out there.
Yeah.
He's 33. He had a, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been that long. I've been a full-time jeweler for approximately 30 years.
Yeah.
My income is just from that. Before that, I was an elementary art teacher. I was educated at St. Cloud State. I have a master's degree in jewelry making. So I've been doing this a long time. This is my daughter, Marja Majewski. Frankly, if she wasn't here helping me, I couldn't do this anymore just because, I'm getting a little bit older. So she travels with me. She does a lot of the stone setting. She does laser work now that we have a laser. She's just in on everything. And then I want to show you Karina Roth, who's there behind us. My granddaughter. Stick your head down here.
Yeah,
She's the third generation traveling with us to art shows. And this summer she also started silversmithing. She started fabricating, soldering, making earrings and pendants for me. So we've got 3 of us going.
Yep.
Wonderful. I love that. That's how art works. We pass down our craft from one generation to the next. A lot of artisans do that. So I love seeing it in practice. That's wonderful.
Marja can tell you her education too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, kids gotta go.
Kids had enough.
Yeah. I went to Minneapolis Tech College actually and got a repair and jewelry smithing and a stone degree there way back when, right out of high school. And then I started working in the cities for a jeweler for many years. And then I took a little time off when I had my daughter, and now I'm back into it full time. I worked for him then for many years. He retired now too, but that's where I did a lot of with like mill and CAD work and laser and stuff like that, a little beyond like what she does. It's just a little over here, and what she does is over there. So I kind of hang out in the middle with a lot of things. But I'm 42 and technically been doing this for 38 years.
Wow.
She was taken with when she went to when you were assistant teaching, when you were getting when she was getting her master's degree, she took her little 4-year-old kid with, and I have a ring still that I made when I was 4.
Oh,
So that's when I started.
that is really cool. That is a cool story. I love that you're here with us today too to see the family passing on the skill and the craft and also supporting each other in it too. That's wonderful.
Oh
So
yeah.
so I know that Mary, there's lots of different kinds of jewelers that come to Millstream, and what is it about your jewelry that really stands out? That's different. The one thing you really want people to remember about your jewelry that's different than what others do.
Well, a lot of jewelers do just one style, and to me, I find that boring. If you look at my if you look at my display, I've had people ask me, "What? You've got 5, 6 people working here?" I don't stick with one style. I've gone from high polish to a lot of textural things. I do an awful lot of casting. You'll see that when we look at the studio, all the molds I've made over the years. I've gone to casting a lot of organics. So, and I also do a lot of custom work, a lot of rebuilding, remaking of people's rings when they get tired of what they got. I melt the metal down and make it new again. But I really don't have one style. So that's kind of me.
You use a lot of more fun stones too, like really different shapes, cuts, and like gems that you haven't heard of really, like the picture you just showed us before we started too. She uses many different things. It's
Stones
not
that are
just
not-
a round diamond, you know, set.
Stones
50
that are
million
not
of them.
cut,
Yeah.
stones that are in the raw shape. Like I said, I get bored, so I'm always trying to find something new, something different. Right now, you probably didn't see it, but I'm playing with enamels,
Oh,
which I've had for probably 30 years and never had the time to play with them. And now, since there's not a whole lot to do, I've been trying them out, just to play. I'll never be a great enamelist because actually I'm finding it kind of boring,
hmm.
but I wanted to try it again.
Yeah,
So
there's always some new.
yeah, you started talking a little bit about having more time now.
Yeah.
That's a question I wanted to know also. Like, how has your art changed during this time, or what is the outlook right now for you, and how is it different now?
Well, I have a lot of inventory, I can tell you that. I was making, for a new summer season, and during the
All
summer,
winter.
all winter, that's what I do is build inventory, and now I haven't been able to sell the volume. So there's a lot of inventory here. Like I said, I've been trying new things. I've been carving new waxes, trying to get new designs, things people haven't seen before. So hopefully next summer I can get back out on the street. I do about 12 art fairs a year,
Yeah.
plus 2 of them in my house. We have people come in the house. When Jim Loso died, I took that weekend and invited some of his artists and some of my friends. And so we kind of made it here now.
Oh, okay. It's so we have your website on here, marygohman.com, and people can purchase your work by going to this website and looking there.
Well, there's maybe a total of 30 pieces on the website. As you probably noticed, I'm not a real computer person. I know enough to do
It's okay.
emails and get in trouble. But this spring, a friend of mine took pictures of everything I have, which took us days upon days upon days. They may not be the best photos, but they're photos that I can now reference, and I will be putting more on the website. So the website is more of a representation of what I do. There's examples of this, examples of that, but it's not really a selling site. But people look
Yeah.
at it and say, "Oh, I like this ring." They call me up and say, and then we start talking. Then we get the conversation going.
So people can go to the website and then contact you,
Oh, yeah,
either
yeah.
email or a phone call and visit with you and find pieces that way. And it sounds like you have a place where they could maybe make an appointment and look at some of the work.
Yeah, I take appointments in my house. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so they could go to the website and call you and make an appointment to see some work and purchase some inventory from you, and then purchase some
Right.
jewelry from you. Well, let's
Yeah.
start looking at your work. Let's start with how about just let's do a video of your booth, of a booth you'd have at maybe an arts festival here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is just very simple.
That's maybe a tenth of what would be in the booth.
About a
total.
tenth, yeah, about a tenth of what's in the booth.
She's not kidding when she says she has a lot of inventory. I don't know. You did a good job though. That looks much better.
So, I've seen you set up your booth, Mary, at Millstream. I know that this is not all of your inventory. It's quite an ordeal to set up the booth, and I know teardown's part of that also. So,
Teardown's easy though.
I have, 15 cases.
Yeah.
And what you see on these tables would fit in maybe 3.
3.
Yeah, maybe 3. So this is just a small amount. A lot of jewelers will display maybe 6 or 10 pieces, artistically placed in their cases. I shove in a whole lot. I put a lot of pieces in my cases.
Yeah, you put every option in that you have.
So you can see there's variations here. There's shiny, there's brush finish. These are drusies.
Those are new.
Yeah, those are new. Those are drusies and pieces. These are some of Marge's pieces here now.
Hmm.
She does some wire wrapping. She does the flush setting. So we got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. There's the flush setting again. Those are some of these pieces are what she would use the mill for that we'll look at later.
Yeah. The big equipment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. We can kind of get a feel if we were walking by in Millstream a little bit there with the booth. Let's look at let's look at some of your pieces close up and you can talk a little bit about it because when you've shared, some of these processes, a lot of times people don't know what that means. So maybe we can talk a little bit more about that.
This one that's called grape agate. It's a natural quartz, and it grows on those little spears, and they're all stuck together. So it's kind of like a druzy, but it's not sharp. It's very rounded like that. And those are fabricated from wire and just soldered together. The bottoms are opals, and
they're like inside out geodes.
yeah, that's
Those
another way to say
great
it.
agates, yeah.
These are they're partly faceted sapphires. People think of sapphire as being blue, but sapphire actually comes in all colors except red. When it's red, it's called ruby. So these are a combination of sterling and gold.
Sort of cut stone, sort of
Yeah.
not, sort of natural.
Some natural stone.
Oh, this is a pair of
big
earrings that Karina made. She cut them out and pounded them. I think she liked the pounding. And then does the shaping, and she's also actually learned to solder. She soldered the wires on. So she gets a kick out of it when I tell her I sold a pair of her earrings.
This is your granddaughter.
Granddaughter, yeah.
The one that ran through.
The teenager that
Oh, the teenager that ran through. There we go. Okay.
These, my sister named this. She calls them lumpy bumpies. It's sterling with 14 karat gold soldered on top. So it's just kind of like change the surface so it's not just so flat.
Yeah, and those ones are all combinations of colors and shapes, and it's just a way to like bring everything together.
I do a lot of these as mother's rings.
Yep.
Oh,
Big
sure, with a
numbers.
few different stones. Yeah.
Yeah, they have different shapes and stuff.
Something different than you find in a jewelry store.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's basically what I'm after, something different
Not
than a jewelry store.
not to look like a retail chain store, yeah.
Mhm.
These are lichens that I picked off of a dead bush out in my backyard, and then I mold them and cast them in sterling silver. So it's a molding, casting process, and then there's 14 karat gold dust fused on the edges, and pearls.
Pretty.
And they're antique to look
Yeah,
black, that's why
black.
they're dark.
And again, this is a pair of earrings, and nobody said earrings have to match. They are the same stones, but different shapes. So it's just kind of a more fun way to make earrings.
I've done that too, when
Yeah.
people have like two stones that they have both opals, but they're different shapes or sizes, so then you do something to make them just match.
It looks like the
Ish.
metal connects them also. The textures on the
Yeah.
metal connects them also.
Yeah.
And that's another variation on the lumpy bumpy. Gold soldered to the outside of the bezel, mauve pearl, and I think a little ruby. This is twigs. Twigs from the oak trees in the backyard. I molded them again, and then when I inject wax into the mold, I can then manipulate that wax and turn it into any shape I want, and then it's cast into this.
So it's the natural twig formation and shape exactly, pretty much.
And these are colored sapphires again. And this one, actually, I turned on a little homemade lathe on my flex shaft machine to get that shape. And
Shape
then
of the ring.
the shape of the ring. It was turned on a little lathe. And brown diamonds.
Pretty. This one's pretty.
I know, that one's got a pretty cognac color.
Another brown diamond. And channel set diamonds in this one. This is I believe, a 10 karat gold piece. Most of these pieces I don't have anymore. You know,
That one, the ring is square too on the outside, so
Which
it won't turn or flip. So it's got a flat top, flat sides, and a flat bottom.
It's actually very comfortable, when you try them on. That one is a real popular ring. I've had that design for probably 40 years.
With and without gems in it.
Yeah, putting pearls in it or gems, and that again was.
And without too. Yeah.
With tearing pieces of wax to get the top
So that was
texture.
Plain with bits of wax.
There's more of those crepe agates.
I love those.
Yeah, I did 2 rings. I'm afraid people are going to hit them and break them, so I only did 2 rings, but nobody's complained. They haven't broken yet.
Yeah, they are definitely a unique stone. And I like how the metal mimics the same roundness of it also. That's really pretty.
Yeah,
Really
she tends to do that with anything that's like all sorts of organically shaped. Whatever she makes around it, like fits it and like goes with it. The shape of the stones and things.
Yeah, and definitely seeing your variety you were talking about in there, Mary, between the twigs and the more inlays and the wax and all those pieces. It's definitely, and that's what keeps artists, I think, still selling and fresh in the market is they keep changing and trying new things. So I think that's definitely a plus of your work, having that variety. Well, let's see your studio here.
Get really boring real quick.
Yeah, right. Well, let's see a video of your studio here. This one first will be your studio.
This is the studio. When we looked for this house, I was down here looking for the studio space. My husband was up in the kitchen looking at the kitchen cabinets. But so I was after. What you just saw was my wax bench. This is the steamer and polishing ultrasonic area where you do the polishing, the cleaning. Casting machine, I do vacuum casting. This is the casting torch with, of course, ventilation because got to stay safe. The programmable kiln, ventilation again. This is the soldering area where things come together. This is Marge's bench with the microscope. Got the microscope about a year ago. Haven't quite figured out if I like it or not. She loves it. That's my bench. Tools, another polishing area. Hammers, I love hammers. I pick them up at garage sales. They're fun. A lot of the metal for shaping, making bezels, making bracelets, just a nice pounding area. And then over all of those little cabinets with the stickers on them, those are all molds. So that's 40 years worth of molds. I mold just about everything I make that's cast. So that way somebody wants the same piece but a different size or a different stone, I can duplicate it. And then I can also change the molds, and get variety again. This is the molding area with the wax injectors. And then another polishing area for texture. And then this is my
laser.
That's Marge's laser. So she can tell you about that.
It's a laser welder, so it pretty much does the same thing as a welder or soldering, but you just do it with the tiny little laser points, so you can hold everything. It's inside, totally enclosed, and they're pretty popular now and pretty used a lot in mainstream jewelry stores nowadays.
Yeah, some things cannot be soldered because of the heat. So the laser allows us to make and repair things that before I couldn't do.
I can repair like fine chain or put one of the prongs back on a stone without having to tear the whole ring apart because there's no heat involved. And it does a lot of little intricate work that you can't do with a torch sometimes.
Wow. That is quite a studio, Mary. Holy commotion. That's amazing. That is a lot of wonderful tools and areas to work there. That is really, thank you for sharing that with us, and especially for people that maybe don't understand the process as much to see all the different tools that go into, creating a piece and all the different from the polishing to the wax casting to to the whole piece of it. It's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. I think the last video we have is of the what is? I can't.
Lathe. a mill lathe combo, so it actually is a lathe and a mill. The mill is just kind of pushed back there. So like that's what she was talking about, turning things. Like I use that all the time. Like people, what's the common term? Halo? For like a halo ring, I would actually use that, and I would carve the channels out where all the stones go, or I use it to shape the inside or outside profiles of rings. It's just a way, it's a mechanical way of getting things perfect.
My husband also uses it. He builds me,
Yeah.
and it's actually his, really.
But it came from my
It
old
came from
work.
her old work.
I used it all the
But
time in my old work.
he makes a lot of tooling for me, and he uses it for turning down the metal or cutting threads. So he uses
makes
it.
Stuff, parts for us to use.
Makes
tools
parts for us to use.
Mm-hmm. All the time.
Wow. That is quite a setup, but I can tell why this needs to be passed on to generations here. This is not something that is only with one person. This is definitely something that it gets inherited and
Yeah,
crafted and passed on.
they contribute on each other when it comes to stuff. That's true. Like, oh, we
Yes.
need this.
Wow, that is a beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So with all of those tools and everything we saw here, do you have a dream project on the horizon? Something you're
The
hoping
only
to
thing I
do?
do anytime soon is to make my next wedding ring.
Oh,
That's my dream project. I have a emerald cut blue diamond, so that I have to figure out what I want to do with it. That's my only dream project. My personal ring is way harder than making anything for inventory. Right?
I've made so many dream projects over the years that
Yeah.
I just,
Once they're done, it's not a dream
it's like,
anymore.
okay.
You know, there's a
mhm.
lot of stuff to do. I don't know about dreaming about it though.
Yeah.
I dream about jewelry all the time though, like how to fix things, or like it'll come to me like how to do something.
Yeah. I dream about finding piles of gemstones and puddles on the ground.
That'd be nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, before we leave our audience today, is there anything you else would like to share? Anything else you'd like us to know?
I think
We're open for business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to end with, that they can contact you through marygohman.com. And at that
Yeah.
website, they can call you, they can email you, they can talk about their dreams and wishes for their art, and they can set up appointments to come in and see your inventory and hold it in their hand and pick out something special also, it sounds like.
Definitely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for visiting with us today and for sharing your studio and sharing your art with us, Mary. You're definitely like the heart of Millstream, with just we know you're going to be there and we love it when you are. So it means a lot to have you here in our Artist Spotlight for 2020.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.